Well, good afternoon and welcome everyone. Today's review has now brought us here for a much more up-close and personal encounter with the 2014 Hyundai Elantra Sport. And now, with all that being said, this is going to be a complete and in-depth review of the Elantra Sport. And this does entail a complete startup and overview of the engine, as well as a good look at many of the unique and notable styling cues and multiple features, technologies, and creature comforts that now make up this new sporty version of one of Hyundai's most award-winning four-cylinder compact vehicles. And so, bearing all that new information in mind, let's go ahead and climb aboard and we'll check it out. To begin with, our nicely equipped sports sedan tester today is wearing the Geranium Red exterior. This is a much brighter shade of red over the standard Venetian red exterior, which bestows most of the Elantra lineup. Now, as standard equipment on both sport and limited trim levels for the sedan version of the Elantra, it does come standard with Hyundai's proximity key. Basically, using the newly sculpted key fob here, you get complete remote-free access into the vehicle along with a standard push-button ignition. Gaining entry into the Elantra is as simple as having the key fob anywhere on your person, such as I have it here in my pocket. And as you just saw just a moment ago, we just unlocked the new Elantra. And both the locking and unlocking is done through the small rectangular button hidden in both of the front door handles. To lock it, just touch it once. One beep indicates locking, and two beeps indicates unlock. And beautifully accenting the depth and shine of this Geranium Red exterior, our particular sport tester's interior has been fully upholstered in a standard gray perforated leather. Now, to start this new Elantra, in our case today with our tester being a 6-speed manual transmission, all you have to do is to press the clutch and hold the brake for safety's sake. Make sure your e-brake up and the vehicle is in neutral. And after doing all of that, simply locate and hit the beautiful silver engine start button in the dash to fire up the engine. And instantly that 2-liter gasoline direct injected 4-cylinder power plant bursts into life. And if you're wondering how to start the Elantra with the 6-speed Shiftotronic automatic transmission, it's basically just the same as we did before, but you don't have to push in a clutch as it is an automatic for obvious reasons. Now, with the Elantra Sport being the quote-unquote sportiest version of the Elantra you can buy, the steering in the Elantra Sport is actually quite tight. It's a simple hydraulic system versus the standard electric system, unlike a lot of other Hyundai's other cars, but it still provides an excellent amount of feedback through the wheel, definitely putting the driver in touch with the front wheels at all times. As you can see in our sport trim level, it's a full 4-spoke leather-trimmed exterior steering wheel with multiple accents of dark gray paintings on both spokes and both sides of the wheel, your full electronic creature comforts on both sides, which we'll go over a bit later, and a sort of soft grain vinyl-like material for the standard airbag cover. Now, regardless of which trim level you pick, be it SE, Sport, or Limited, you can get 2 available transmissions for more basic models. This Sport trim level we have here has the standard 6-speed manual transmission. Shifter's nice and easily throwable. Not so much a snick feel, but at the same time, nice and comfortable throws, and actually it's so smooth, you could literally move it with one finger. How easy is that? To go into reverse, just simply pull up on the collar, go all the way over, and all the way up, just like that. And even with our vehicle only having a small 4.2-inch display up here on the dash rather than the navigation package like what you would find in, say, a Limited, it does still come standard with a reverse backup camera. Beautiful. Only the driver's side window is automatic in both directions. And once you close the door to the Elantra Sport with the proximity key fob in your possession, you can hear that the vehicle generates a rather elongated chime to let you know that the key fob has now exited the vehicle. With the Elantra Sport being the newest member of the Elantra family for 2014, Hyundai has added several more upscale features to the Elantra Sport to further differentiate it from the rest of the Elantra family. Starting out, the Elantra Sport features an upgraded 2-liter dual overhead cam, 16-valve, gasoline direct fuel injected inline 4-cylinder engine. This motor has also been equipped with Hyundai's signature dual continuous variable valve timing, and it cranks out 173 horsepower and 154 pound-feet of torque. This is a significant upgrade of almost 30 horsepower over the standard 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine for both SE and limited trim levels in the Elantra family. Unfortunately, with this rather significant gain in horsepower, the Elantra Sport actually loses out when it comes to the best fuel economy of the Elantra family. This model here scores an average of 24 miles per gallon in the city and 34 miles per gallon on the interstate highway running on regular unleaded gasoline. This is a drop of about 3 to 4 miles per gallon when compared to the 28 city, 38 highway ratings of the 1.8-liter models like SE and Limited. Definitely a very racy engine note to that little power plant. Overall, not too dramatic and definitely a beautiful little sound. And with all of that in mind, let's go ahead and turn on the headlights. You do have the option of them being automatic, as well as turn on the fog lights and the hazard lights as usual. And now let's take this opportunity to explore the exterior of the Elantra Sport. Now, unlike a standard or basic Elantra, or even the SE trim level, the Sport adds a few additional features for very little extra money. For starters, you get these beautiful black and chrome bezeled halogen projector headlights as standard. You can see the small white sort of painted bezel running around the interior portion of the light. That's actually a recent styling cue that's come into Hyundai's lineup only within the past year or so. This Sport trim level comes standard with chrome ringed fog lights. Beautiful chrome accented upper and lower grille. Now, one way that you can differentiate a Sport Elantra compared to a SE, base, or even the limited trim level is this standard set of 17-inch two-tone painted aluminum alloy wheels, finished in a beautiful anthracite gray for the inner parts of the spokes, and also the very inner part, sort of a fan blade style design. This Sport comes standard with monochromatic LED turn signal equipped mirrors, intermittently timed rain sensing wipers. As you can see up top, this one also comes standard with a power tilting and sliding sunroof, one touch in both directions. Now, as standard on Elantra Sport and Elantra Limited are full sets of LED taillights. You can see a much more fluidic design, almost kind of Sonata inspired here for the rear inner portion of the light. The Elantra Sport comes with one singular Sport trapezoidal exhaust outlet. particular vehicle here has also had the rear optional spoiler delete, which actually subtracts money from the total price of the car. You can see an excellent crash test safety rating for a small vehicle. Definitely a plus point for a lot of the youthful market looking for a small vehicle. You can see 5-star overall vehicle score. This was one of the IIHS top safety picks for 2014. And as you can see also, as if to add to its award-winning lineup, you have the fact this became the 2012 North American Car of the Year. Definitely shows that the Elantra definitely has a lot going for it. I guess you could say it's a small car with quite big shoes to fill, and it already has filled them. Overall, yet another beautiful trim level to an already popular design. Definitely a wonderful car to look at. And now that we've had a good look around the exterior of the Elantra Sport, let's go ahead and take a look at what changes have been made to the interior. As aforementioned, our particular vehicle today is sporting the dark gray perforated leather interior. You can see heavily perforated areas in the center portion of the upper portion of the seat, and also the same for the lower, with solid leather bolsters and light gray color coordinated stitching. The driver's seat is fully power adjustable, power distance control, power recline, and also power lumbar support. You got turned aluminum sill plates. And as you would expect on a mid-level trim such as the Elantra Sport, you do still get plentiful amounts of powered amenities, including power door locks, window locks, power mirrors, automatic one-touch driver's side window. Along with the rest of your power windows, this one also has your traction control and instrument dimming. However, this one is not equipped, at least obviously, with an active eco button, but we'll show you where it is in just a little bit. You can hear the door closes with a nice soft thunk. And stepping into the interior, those of you who have been with Hyundai for a little while may recognize that the interior looks relatively similar. Well, that's because the design of this current generation Elantra has been around since 2011. However, that being said, Hyundai has definitely started to make little changes here and there to start making the Elantra a little bit more attractive than it first was back in 2011. Even that being said, that back in 2011 it was quite a smash hit, because it was yet another revolutionary design put out by Hyundai after the 2011 Sonata had already come out. One of the things that actually strikes a lot of eyes right away is these sort of cat eye-like rings here around the gauge cluster themselves. Kind of a neat little touch here. As far as ergonomics go in the interior, it's what you would expect of a car of this price range. Nice padded, sort of soft grain material here on the dash. A little bit firm in some areas, but does not feel like plastic at all. Plentiful amounts of black piano veneer, such as the full surround here for the radio, down here for your single zone climate controls, and also even here on your shifter knob with the aluminum numerics and also a small piece of painted silver, along with a full leather wrapped shift knob and full stitched leather shift boot. Now here on the steering wheel, you have pretty much all the electronic creature comforts you can possibly think of. For starters, you have your radio controls over here on the left-hand side of the wheel, hands-free Bluetooth along with voice command. You have your active cruise control settings and also the availability to take a look at your trip meter. Now I did mention that this car does have a sort of active ecosystem. Although when we looked at a more basic trim level, you can see that it does not have the active eco button over here in this small set of controls. That's because if you push the trip meter here, you can look up top, average miles per hour, estimated time driving the vehicle. You can see the trip, range, and so on and so forth. And basically, down here, you can just see where it says Eco. Now you can actually reset it to where you can actually turn it off or on. So right there, that's actually your active Eco button. And basically, that's just so that it tells you that the car is driving at its most fuel efficient, or you have it set to drive in its most fuel efficient settings. Down here on the dash, you can see the small illuminated engine start button. This is standard on both Sport and Limited trim levels, as aforementioned. Nice little amounts of storage. You've got standard iPod, USB, and auxiliary inputs. A standard 120 watt outlet. Comes open nice and easily. Standard 2-stage heated seats for both the driver and passenger, being that these are perforated leather seats. And you've got your very basic simple climate controls here in the center. Just underneath your hazard switch, you've got your front and rear defroster, multiple climate zones around your fan speed control here. Introduce the air conditioning recycling, maximum air conditioning, and temperature control, all located in one knob right down here in the middle. Now, as far as the radio goes, it doesn't have things like this, or this particular one doesn't have things like the Dimension audio system or anything like that. However, the audio system in this car is still quite respectable. As you may have seen on the exterior of the vehicle, this one has a shark fin antenna, not only for the radio itself, but also for your XM satellite radio, which is standard on just about every model in the Elantra lineup. And you can just change channels as such. Just turn the knob and go to whichever one you want.
Yeah, but give me an example of an episode. Some hip hop. Okay then.
But anyway, you get the idea. And to change between XM and FM and AM radios, you just hit the radio button up here in the corner. You got 3 different channels of XM, FM radios, and your AM radio as well. You've got different media synchronization, such as your iPod, your Bluetooth hands-free via the phone button, the availability to mute the radio, scan the radio, and also radio and sound setup. And also your little display button here next to your single stack CD player is your display button, which allows you to actually turn the display off even while the radio is running. So for instance, you turn the radio on, you don't like the way it looks or whatever, just hit it. You can see it turns the display off, but so you can see the radio is still on. And down here you've also got your Seek track button and category folder for your XM radio. Up top, sunglasses holder, different map lights, and also your one-touch sunroof. It's got a manually retracting shade, which you have to manually pull closed. Just like that. Now over here in the door, continuing on with ergonomics, it is a little bit harder feel, but it's not plastic. This is not a plasticky interior. You've got leather padded door inserts here in the side. You've got beautiful painted silver that comes from the side vent here, wraps around the door and goes down your door handle. A little bit harder touch plastics down here for your speaker grill, but that's not normally a place where you would find leather or anything like that anyway. You got standard drink holders here in the door, so you've got one in the driver's door, one in the right passenger door, and the same can be said for the rear. Overall, the Elantra Sport is definitely a wonderful little car to be in, especially with back to school coming around and so many more youthful drivers joining the league of drivers nowadays. You definitely would want a car that's sporty to drive, yet safe in a crash and everything else, everything that a parent could ever expect. Such a beautiful little car. And now with all that being said, let's go ahead and turn off the engine. You can see, just as simple as that. Unlock the rest of the doors. And let's take this opportunity to explore the rest of the Elantra Sport. Now, being a small or even a middle-sized compact vehicle, you can definitely tell that this car is meant to have some room in it. It's got room for 5 people, and once you climb into the back, even with the seat in my driving position, and I'm about 6'1", you can see that we actually have about 2 to 3 inches of legroom back here, which is actually quite respectable for a small car like this. Small padded armrest. We've also got dual cup holders. These are 60/40 split fold rear seats, access through the trunk. And also got a nice little corded mat pocket here behind the passenger seat. And also lockable gas cap as access through the front trunk. Now you can unlock the trunk one of two ways, by using the button on the key fob or just simply using the small touchpad underneath. Very generous amount of trunk space. You see, just pull on either one of these tabs to release the rear seats. And actually, when you release the rear seats, you almost double the rear capacity of this vehicle. So you just pull on the tab. And the seat just folds right down. Now, of course, the seat doesn't fold entirely flat into the floor, but for what it's worth, considering the storage hole and everything right here, you are getting an extremely generous amount of space. You could probably fit something like a snowboard or even a pair of skis back here. It's actually that large. Now, one thing about the Elantra that definitely stands out to a lot of buyers is quality. Just listen when you throw the door shut. Just a nice, soft, authoritative thunk. Now, for those of you who are wondering about what kind of safety features the Elantra will offer, you have dual-stage front impact airbags, side curtain and side impact airbags, along with electronic creature comforts such as ABS and electronic stability control, also pre-seatbelt tensioners, and also forward headrests, or active headrests. Stepping into the passenger side of the vehicle, you're greeted by actually quite a generous amount of space. Again, this reviewer here is about 6'1". You can see that I actually have quite a lot of leg room here, almost enough to stretch my legs completely all the way out. And the seat here would actually be in about my position for a passenger in a vehicle. Your glove box is damped, it falls nice and silently, but as you can see, it's not lined with felt or anything like that, but still provides quite a plentiful amount of storage for all of your necessary reading amenities and so on. Overall, the Elantra Sport presents quite a combination of different things. A small, mid-sized car, getting excellent fuel economy, over 30 miles to the gallon, while still maintaining a nice small price tag for what it's worth. So viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this rather in-depth look at the 2014 Hyundai Elantra Sport. If you've been enlightened by this vehicle and you wish to come take a look, please feel free to visit your local Hyundai dealer or go online to HyundaiUSA.com. Or if you live here in the local Houston area and wish to come check out this particular vehicle, you can visit our location at Humble Hyundai, or you can go to Baytown Hyundai off of Interstate 10 or Interstate 45 at North Freeway Hyundai. Until then, viewers, I hope you've enjoyed the review, and I'll see you guys later.